From the fast action of the trading pit to the power brokers making the headlines, you'll hear it all on the Traders Network Show with your host, Michael Yorba. All right. Michael interviews the front page titans about the latest in trading tools and market trends in stocks, commodities, bonds, forex, and derivatives. The Traders Network helps you stay ahead of the curve and delivers tomorrow's trade today. Now, here's your host, Michael Yorba.
Welcome back to the Traders Network. I'm Michael Yorba, your host. Thanks for joining us. Broadcasting to you live from the Dallas KFXR 1190 AM iHeart Media Studios and worldwide through yorbamedia.com. All right, we've got a first on our show. This is a completely new type of industry sector, and I've got the leader of that industry sector on our show right now, Mr. Richard Easton, the Matchmaker, Club Richard Easton. Richard, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Michael.
All right, my pleasure. Let's get a little background on you. You've got a depth and breadth to you in the investment banking industry, and let's talk about that for a second, and then get into Club Richard Easton. I just can't wait to bring this out to the audience.
Thank you. Well, in 1988, I founded a small bank in California, headquartered in San Francisco, and ran that company for 11 years, and then sold it to a Merrill Lynch group in 1999, late in 1999. And then I traveled in Paris for a year, bought an apartment there, and then returned to New York in 2001, January, and founded an M&A advisory firm on Wall Street, and ran that company for almost 7 years. But in 2007, I sensed the downturn coming in the financial markets and decided to leave finance altogether and take a couple of years off to travel. But 10 years ago, I was working a lot, and I wasn't meeting the kind of women that I wanted to meet on .coms and barstools. So I signed up with a matchmaker, and then a year later another matchmaker, and a year later another matchmaker. So during my 2 years hiatus between 07 and 09, I thought about what I would do in my next career, and having 3 years of client-side matchmaking experience, I decided to parlay that expertise into my own matchmaking firm. And it's now 5 years old, and we're extremely successful. And we're considered by ABC News the top matchmaker in the country.
Yeah, and well earned, because the way that you go about making matches for people is something that every man or woman really is it's at the top of the list, because so much can go wrong. How do you keep everything going in the right direction and have such happy clients to get you to the point of being the top in your industry?
Well, we do not charge women a membership fee, so we're not enticed to take women that we don't want in the club. And so it's a process. It's a screening process that we go through. We only accept women by referral from someone we already know and trust. We do background checks and verify what they're telling us is true. So we have a club with wonderful women in it. They're very pretty, they're slender, they're well-educated, they come from good families, they're sweet and kind, and, we do our very best to weed out the gold diggers, train wrecks, and rescue operations that you often find sitting on a bar stool or a .com. So our men are very happy because they're meeting women that are emotionally available and emotionally stable, and accomplished women in their own right.
Talk about where the locations are. I mean, you have clients from all over the world, but give us an idea of your location and the breadth of your scope there.
Well, we have clients all over the world, but our offices are in New York and London, and there's a reason for that. We think that the best women gravitate in the U.S. to New York and in Europe to London. And we have clients flying in from all over the place just to go out with the women that we have in our membership.
All right. The median age of the membership. Let's drill down into that.
Okay. So the median age of the men is right around 42, 45. And the median age for the women is 32, 35. And so that's about it.
The introduction process, that's got to be something of a stable situation, and everybody wants to know how you can meet the right person and not get off on the right foot. How does that work?
Well, I always say that it's 1 part science and 3 parts intuition.
Okay.
I think matchmaking requires a lot of intelligence on the part of the team. I surround myself with highly trained, very intelligent, and beautiful women, and we work together to make each match. We try to knock it out of the park each time we set someone up on a date. The men in the club are client members. The women in the club are guest members, and we have a lot to choose from. We have a lot of wonderful women in the club.
Okay, well, time is of the essence in a lot of in everybody's life, especially the hectic life that when you start getting up to say a C-suite executive, and every second counts. So walk me through the process of how you efficiently use the time to make the introductions and make things come off, so that that the clients are happy.
Yes, and exactly, and that's why I went to Matchmakers in the first place. I had time to date, but I didn't have time to go find her. And the places that you would go find somebody would not be the places where you would find great women. So what we do is we describe the woman entirely to the man. We have an 80-question questionnaire that everybody fills out in the club. And so we can go through her background, where she grew up, where she went to school, whether her parents are still married, how many siblings she has, and her relationship with them, all the way through to her career, how passionate she is about it, whether she's interested in having children or not having children, and whether she'd be happy to marry someone who already has children. And so we can drill down into that so as it's not wasting the gentleman's time going out on a date with someone that from the very beginning isn't going to go anywhere.
Do you find more women starting to want to use your services because the glass ceiling is broken?
Because why?
The glass ceiling is broken. There's a lot of women executives that are looking to meet men, and they don't.
There certainly are. There certainly are, and they can't meet men either. The men that they're complaining about the men that they're meeting just as much as the men are complaining about the type of women that they are meeting. So women gravitate to this club when they're serious about finding a relationship, and they know that we have a reputation for representing great men.
Because, on one side, you've got men that go out and they want to meet women, and it's perfectly socially acceptable for that to occur in that fashion. But it's kind of a reverse role for being politically correct for women to go out there and do that. I mean, that's got to be, confidentiality's got to be of the highest caliber is what I'm trying to say with that.
Well, it really is, and we represent some of the most prominent men in the world, and in 5 years, we have protected the confidentiality of every single member of this club.
Yeah. The membership fee and the team, can we drill down into that a little bit?
Well, sure. I have two people on my team with 5 years of matchmaking experience. I have 5 years of matchmaking experience running this company and matchmaking myself. plus 3 years of client-side matchmaking experience. I have a couple of more people with 2 years of matchmaking experience. And we only take 60 active clients at a time in New York. So since we're in the U.S. and we're talking about that, so only taking 60 active clients with a team of 7 or 8 people, we have time to focus our attention on each active client.
So you're taking an investment banking approach because you can't overload yourself. Otherwise, you do just a bad job and something slips through the cracks. So okay.
So 2 years ago, we only took 30 active clients at a time, and we raised that by 15 per year. And now we're at the point where we've got more staff, and we feel like we can deliver the same level of service to 60 men at a time. But we've cut it off at that, and I don't plan to go any farther than that in the near future for sure.
Well, you're an expert in this field. You have to be because you're ranked number one in this industry sector. What do you see the industry evolving to? How do you see this working? Because more and more people don't have less and less time, and they've got to outsource this process, the screening process and the introduction process to professionals in order to meet the demands of their business. So where do you see the industry going?
Well, I see the industry being very frustrated. The whole dating industry as a whole. People are becoming more and more and more disenchanted with the .com dating scene. I know a few stories about men who have met women on .coms and especially on Tinder, where you have no idea what you're getting yourself into, and real horror stories. One in particular is a man who met a woman on a .com dating site and liked her a lot, and after 2 weeks of being in a quasi relationship, gave her his black card and said, "Hey, honey, go do a little shopping." Well, she started out on 57th Street in Madison, walked all the way up to 72nd Street, and didn't miss a store. So, it's you just don't know what you're getting. And in contrast, what I do is I ferret those kind of women out, and they don't make it into the club. So that when you're meeting someone, you are meeting someone who has great values, that grew up well, and she may not have grown up rich, but she grew up in a family that had good values and a good sense of right and wrong, and she's beautiful and she's smart and can hold a conversation and is elegant enough to take anywhere, and introduce to your family and friends.
That's I can't say enough about the service and the quality and that you stand behind your product, because all these .coms you mentioned, they don't do that. Let's take a break right now, and on the other side, if we can, let's talk about the future of what's going on with Club Richard Easton. And by the way, before we go, wait a second, Danny. Before we go, you've got an offer for the people listening out there in the audience. Was it within the next 10 days, a trial membership?
Yes, if you're listening and this sounds like something that might be right for you, I would ask you to go to richardeaston.com, watch the first video, and it's an About Us video. It's 4 minutes long. It's very fast-paced, and it answers every question you could possibly imagine. It's a very well-done video, and if you sign up within the next 10 days, we're happy to offer you a trial membership at half price.
Perfect. All right, we'll be right back with Richard Easton, the matchmaker at Club Richard Easton, richardeaston.com. And special thanks to Monk Media and 1-800-PublicRelations.com for all their PR and media support. We'll be right back.
From the North Texas Traffic Center, we have an accident in your right lane on 635 LBJ Freeway heading northbound after Oates Road. This causing some heavy delays right now. From around Highway 80, you're looking at a 15-minute delay. Keep in mind this problem out on your right shoulder as well on 35E heading northbound at Manna Drive. We're seeing heavy delays right now from Northwest Highway, as well as several delays on Loop 12 Walton Walker, adding 20 minutes this morning. I'm Heather Anderson with your KFXR traffic.
At Home, the home decor superstore, is now open. Join us this weekend for our open house celebration and save on thousands of items to decorate your home, all at everyday low prices. Come in and make yourself at home. Visit athome.com for store locations.
Attention men and women, are you suffering from back pain, neck pain, or joint discomfort? Would you like to learn of a non-surgical solution? Call American Medfix at 972-591-6675. That number again, 972-591-6675, to receive free info on how you may qualify for natural creams that may provide you with the relief you are seeking. All products are 100% made in the USA. Call now, 972-591-6675, or visit AmericanMedfix.com.
The Garage is a business accelerator and investment fund looking for new ideas in technology, manufacturing, and consumer goods. Our 90-day intensive workshops, taught by entrepreneur mentors, are focused on one thing: helping you make money faster. Each week, you'll experience a class taught by successful entrepreneurs with the guidance of experienced mentors in your field. We get you to revenue faster and help you find investors when the time is right. To learn why we're different, go to workthegarage.com. That's workthegarage.com.
Join us this Saturday at Prestonwood Polo Club in Oak Point as we present world-class polo right here in North Texas. Watch the thrilling sport of polo and thoroughbred horses racing down the field. Bring your family and friends and enjoy the traditional champagne divot stomp. It's the best tailgate in North Texas. So pack a picnic and join us this Saturday for world-class polo right here in North Texas. For more information and tickets, go to PrestonwoodPoloClub.com. That's PrestonwoodPoloClub.com.
If you're a real estate and oil and gas entrepreneur, Yorba Media, in conjunction with the Soho Loft Global Family Office and online syndication conferences, presents a unique opportunity for just you to meet directly with family office members, real estate investors, and platforms for oil and gas professionals. This conference brings together a new and exciting breed of crowdfunding, both traditional, institutional investors, all under one platform for conference attendees only. Join us October 22nd and 23rd to meet leading angel investors, venture capitalists, and entrepreneurs. They represent a diverse background in growth and service interest. Join us for this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to network with leaders in this emerging financial industry. To register for the event, contact us at 949-305-7710 or click on the Soho Lofts banner on yorbamedia.com members/blog button.
From the Mini Cooper Weather Center today, mostly sunny and warm, high of 92. Tonight, fair skies, low of 72. This report is brought to you by the Foundation for a Better Life.
Would you be mine? Could you be mine? Won't you be my neighbor?
Hi, neighbor.
Mr. Rogers passed along friendship, hoping we would too. Friendship, pass it on, from the Foundation for a Better Life at values.com.
Welcome back to the Traders Network. I'm Michael Yorba, your host. Thanks for joining us. Broadcasting to you live from the Dallas KFXR 1190 AM iHeart Media Radio Studios and broadcasting worldwide on yorbamedia.com. I'm joined on the show with Richard Easton, the Matchmaker, Club Richard Easton, richardeaston.com. And we're going through, this gentleman is the number one matchmaker in the country, and he's been brought on television and ABC, to make that statement. But he's spent a lifetime going through matchmaking on a financial level and then turned it into a personal level so that people who don't have the time to go through and search out the right person that they're trying to find to spend the rest of their lives with, they can be assured that they're not going to end up in a disaster. There's no guarantees on anything, but if you do a lot of prep work, the odds of coming out successful in this venture with a professional's help are much better. And Richard, let's come back into the conversation. We talked about confidentiality, your process, your team, how this all came about. Let's talk about the future in the industry sector, and not just in the industry as a whole, but also Club Richard Easton. What do you see going on with your firm, and how you see evolving in this industry?
Well, thank you. I think the people matchmaking in itself is not new. Matchmaking has been going on a long time. Right. It's just that the all of the matchmakers in the past, and this stretches back for a number of years. It stretches back for centuries, actually. But all of the matchmakers up to the point where I entered the ring, if you will, have been women, and they've been women who are primarily the Yenta types who think they know more about what a man wants than he does, and come from the position that the customer is always wrong. Me being in the finance sector, I grew up in an environment where the customer was always right, and it was our job to fulfill what it was that he was looking for.
Right.
And so where I see our future is that we are a big cities kind of company. We need a pretty dense population to succeed, and because we're only looking for the top 5% of people, and so they have to be people that can afford us. We're only looking for the top 5% of women, 5 to 10% of women, and they have to pass all of our tests. But we could expand this company even within New York and London. And we see a lot of growth in New York and London ahead of us. We grew from in revenues. We grew from 2012 to 2013 by 65%, and we think that we could have a trajectory that would go far beyond where we are now, and then other big cities around the world could be tackled, and we could bring a service to a number of major cities.
So New York and London are big financial hubs. So I take it the growth path is really to follow that method. Other major financial hubs, Hong Kong, Tokyo, things of that nature, are those types of cities on the horizon for you?
They could be. They could be. So it's a matter of the question: is that the direction I want to go with my own personal career? ABC is talking about starting me out on a radio show, a radio talk show, because there isn't a space, there isn't a talk show in the world that focuses solely on sex, relationships, and dating. Every talk show may have an episode once in a while that touches on that subject for 15 minutes, and then they move on. But people have a lot of questions, and they have a lot of questions they want answers to. For example, when I was in M&A, and I would be having a drink at the bar with my girlfriend, waiting for our dinner table, and people in the bar doing the same thing would always ask, where do you live and what do you do? And when I said I was in M&A, they would go, oh, fascinating, and yawn. And now when I say I'm the matchmaker, they say, oh, you introduced my girlfriend to her fiancé. And then suddenly someone else overhears it, and now I've drawn a crowd, and they have questions. And people are fascinated by what we do, and they want answers to questions that they have about finding Mr. Right or Miss Right.
What are some of the big questions that come across that come to the top of your mind?
How do you differentiate between a man that is serious when he says that he's looking for a serious, committed relationship leading to marriage, and one that is just looking for his next conquest? So, how do you...
That's a big question for a woman.
It's a really big question because all the men walking around are saying the same things, but maybe only 5% at any one time, that's 1 out of 20, are telling the truth. So women get disenchanted, and the more disenchanted that they get, the more force fields they put up around them for men walking up to them and introducing themselves. So we've moved, as you said at the beginning, people have less time because they're working longer hours and they're more dedicated to their careers. But also, we've moved away in the last 15 years from socialization interpersonally. So people are afraid, actually, to meet people out because they don't know anything about them. So the preference is to be introduced by someone they know and trust. The problem with friendship setups is that you go out with someone your friend thinks you're supposed with, and you're sitting across from them and thinking, how in the world does my friend think that I am supposed to be out with this person? And what must my friend think of me? And then there's the aftermath, which is that you have to tell your friend why it is that you're not interested in that person, and then you're now in trouble with the friend.
Your friend, his friend who made it's just domino effect. I get that.
Yeah,
part.
Okay, well then what's wrong with her?
Right.
And if you say she's too old for me or she's too large for me, then you're in deep shit.
Yeah. You are. All right, Richard, I can't wait to get into some of the conversations that you undoubtedly have behind closed doors, but we've got to draw the interview to a close. I want to thank you so much for being my guest on the show, and I wish you the best of luck in the future. I know you'll be a continued success.
And email us at love@richardeaston.com. And we'll get right back to you and answer any of your questions.
Thank you, Richard.
And then we'll set up a phone call. Thank you, Michael, for having me.
My pleasure. All right, Richard Easton, the Matchmaker, Club Richard Easton, and richardeaston.com is where you can find him. Want to send out special thanks to Monk Media, 1-800-publicrelations.com for all their PR and media support. We'll be right back.